Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. What's today? Today's February 15th, 2023. More importantly, I think today... Oh, I need to bring up my notes. What day are we on for the traditional and digital? Day 44 today. 44 days. And as I look at this tiger today... Boy, it's taken some time. Taking a lot of time. Learned so much within this painting, this digital painting. Learned a lot about myself, what I like to do as an artist, and a lot about just, digital painting in general. What to do, what not to do. Krita. And I've showed a lot as well. And that's going to be in the resources. See the link in the description below to get all the resources for 44 days of this. You're like, wow, I need more hard drive space to download all that, Chris. So thank you, no thank you, maybe. Don't know. It's up to you. $10. If you want 50% off, it'll be CB50 off is the coupon code. If you have any questions, use my website, email me. Let's get to this. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna work on this bottom palm frond down here, this little piece, and I'm not going to stress too much about it. And we're gonna move forward. We're gonna move forward as best as we can. That's what we're gonna do today. One of the issues, if you are working on a project, on a painting, as long as I have been with this one of the things that can really happen with it is you start getting into too many details all the time, just way too many details constantly. And yeah, it's just a bit too much. So one of the things I want to say about that, because I have to always I'm reminding myself right now that it's about progress, not perfection. And we tend to get into this kind of perfection mode when you're working on a painting for a long time, because you're always going to see, some way to fix it, make it better. So I feel that it's best to do that within multiple paintings rather than all in one painting. So yes, you're going to see within this painting before you finish it, or even after you finish it, once it's done, in every painting, once it's done, hopefully, you look at it and you go, wow, I could really improve that in multiple ways, with, different changes or whatever. And kind of recognizing that, really. Recognizing that, you have other paintings within you, and let's bring them out. So spend the time that you can on this painting that you're working on right now. Be focused on it, but don't go for perfection. That's where kind of overworking comes in as well. You've maybe heard that term where, oh, this painting is way overworked. Yeah, that's what happens a lot of times. We'll overwork our paintings because we always see something that we can fix, something we can improve. So I'm going to try and focus on getting this painting to a point that is at my skill level, and then move on to the next one. Well, actually, move on to the traditional side of this painting, which is working it up in oil paint. That's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun because I need to set up my live streaming setup, basically, where I can have two cameras, because You'll want to see like the palette that I'm working on. You'll also want to see the painting I'm working on. And setting that up with 2 cameras is gonna, it's gonna take some time to figure out. I got it somewhat figured out. So I'm working on this palm frond here, which is supposed to be the extension of this one, like it goes way far down. It doesn't quite look right, like it can't like continue that far down. But I'm not going to worry too much about it now. It's like, okay, we're probably extending that well beyond what it should be. But that's okay. It really, a lot of it kind of comes down to efficiency in some ways. The question is, can you improve your artistic skill with one painting or more paintings? So let's say, will I improve faster if I work on just this one painting for a long time or for multiple paintings? And there's this really awesome research that was done. Well, I don't know. It's probably so old now. It's referenced in a lot of personal development books or self-help books where basically, and there's different versions of it, but the version I like is in a pottery class. The teacher asked half of the students, told half of the students that they would be graded upon one pot. Hey, good morning, Thinker. No, not a marathon session today. Right at 5:30, so 1 hour in, I'm going to shut it down. Yesterday, I kind of blew up the rest of my day because everything cascaded together. So I can't do that again. But so a teacher asked half of the students, or didn't ask, told them, hey, you're going to be graded on the best pot ever, just one pot. That's where your grade is going to come from. So what I want out of you guys is the best pot you can possibly make. In ceramics class. Hopefully you guys understand ceramics in some way. Well, I mean, know what ceramics class is. Right? And then the other half of the class, he said, okay, you guys, you're going to be graded on, as I'm trying to do several things at once here, sorry. You're going to be graded on the weight of how many pots you can actually complete. And the experiment was looking at how many, who would improve most. The students that created multiple pots, or the students that created one pot and really focused on the perfection of that pot. And what came out is he found the best work, the best ceramic works were done by the side of the class that did the most pots. Okay, I'm trying to find where that palm is. I can't find it. Palm 3, it's in palm 1, right? This guy, that has to be it. Okay, so basically what we're talking about here, Thinker, I'll rewind for you real quick. I'm focusing too much on perfection for this painting, and I'm just going to move on. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm okay with that. And we will improve by doing more paintings and move on to the traditional side of this and get better with that, and then move on to the next painting, the next painting, the next painting. Whatever we're going to do, right? But I'm going to start, I'm going to take this to a certain level that I'm happy with. that is not near perfection, and then just let it go after that. And we're going to improve. We're going to save all of that effort for the next part of this painting. The extra effort that we try to put in for perfection, and we're going to put it into the next part of this painting. Projects, tiger painting. I'm gonna get my jungle out again. So layer, transform horizontally. So I'm just gonna pick out this palm frond directly. Boy, I wish this was a bigger image, or a higher resolution image. It's okay, we're gonna paint over it mostly. We're just gonna use its idea for this paste. No, you know what's interesting is I could work up this whole palm frond like below the original one, and then move it up into place because layers, awesome. Sounds like a plan. You still have to give allowance for your learning curve in Krita. What learning curve? What are you talking about? Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where, I totally agree with you. There's going to be there is a learning curve. I'm a bit, well, I'm not going to say I'm ahead of the game. I'm not ahead of the game. Whenever you feel like you're ahead of the game, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I was, but I'm not. But that's hard to judge. See, as I'm thinking about it right now, like, where would I place myself as far as skill level in Krita? Or in anything, really. And especially for ourselves, like, where would you just judge that? So we'll just take it as it comes, right? One day I'll be doing really good on Krita, the other day I won't. And honestly, I mean, what I've found in my years of art is that you think you're at one point, and then all of a sudden you run into, like maybe you're on a plateau or something. This is Mastery, a la Mastery by George Leonard, right? You think you're on one level, maybe you're on a plateau, you're doing really great, and then you kind of stagnate for a while. Or then you meet some new kind of challenge, and you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on here? I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's a bit humbling. And that's where you improve. The one thing I will say about this painting right now, which I don't like, is it's a bit too clean. And this is what, I guess it could happen in traditional media as well, oil painting, acrylic, whatever. But it seems to happen more often, even with, artists I admire in digital. What do I mean by too clean? There's so much in, like, just randomness in nature and stuff everywhere that it seems like digital kind of smooths over all of that. It loses a ton of texture. I mean, look at this jungle, right? This is, I know I focused on this kind of tree here, but there's like a million levels that go back. We have, if I zoom out, we have, the palm fronds in the foreground, and then it's like nothing, and then a background of trees and stuff. But the adverse to that is, well, do you want to focus on doing all that craziness, all that detail? Probably not. I think, this is the reason for the design process. We try and break things down into their simplest terms, to their most impactful ideas. Like this palm frond, I'm getting rid of all the background behind it. It's probably the least efficient way to do a photo bash, and I don't even know if I'm doing photo bash. I mean, it's kind of a terminology that I've been using because I pulled a photo into a digital work that I've been using. But this is the kind of thing that people have been doing for years and years, and like the term photo bash came in later. So it's like, negative or positive, this is going to help me make a better painting. So, yeah, I would, if you're on the fence about using, all digital means to help you, that is not hindering you, not keeping you from progressing in a skill level like AI can in some ways, go for it. Use what you can. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to warp the heck out of this thing. So Control T and then choose your little warp tool over there. This kind of, if I hover over it, it says warp. And I'm going to match it somewhat to the palm frond that we have already. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then what I've already done, I can place over there because what I'm thinking this is going to do is just increase the textural quality that we have. Yeah, definitely. And what I can do, what is that? Okay, good. That's my image that I can kind of look at. But I'm going to go ahead and merge all three of these together. So it's this image. It looks a bit closer to the palm frond that we had, and it's fine. And I need to go up into palm 1. And I'm going to merge this as well. Control E to merge if you didn't remember the keystroke on that. And if you're not using keystrokes, I would highly, highly recommend that you take some time just to learn keystrokes within Krita. It will speed up your workflow tremendously. Yeah, there's certain things that I would say would be a good requirement for Krita. And learning your keystrokes is one of them. Okay. Now let's get back in there. We're going to get this palm frond done this session. This second palm frond. I just want to get this reference in a place where I can actually see it better. And you know what? It's just not working right. I was trying to avoid having to reopen so this one I have flipped. So what I can do is this image trim to selection. Oh, that's the one thing that's annoying about Krita is if you set a selection area that's outside of the canvas, it will create extra. But I guess it's kind of good. You can use that in some ways. And then I'm going to save this. Put a 2 at the end of it. Just save it as a JPEG. And then when I go to my reference, I'm going to add that as a reference. It's a lot to get that reference in there, right? And then it appears in this random area. There you go. Being able to have your reference kind of off to the side there is fantastic. Palm 2, there we go. I downloaded the last Krita Tiger and used a low value 70% for teal and used that color for the white of the face, mane, and shadow. Looks good to me, regardless of bananas at midnight. Perfection is the enemy of good. Yes, that's true. I'll have to... a low value 70% for teal. Okay, was it kind of like, did you do a, like a gradient over the whole thing, or you like painted it over with a brush at that, with that 70% teal? While you're answering that, I'm gonna pour some tea. Okay. It just merged everything together so I didn't have to deal with going to different layers to erase things. I don't even want to mess with it. Painted it over with a brush. Oh, okay. I'll have to try that. Remind me next session, because we're going to get this palm frond done today. I'm going to stay focused on this for right now. That's one thing that, you know, in order to have a full-time position, like most artists do, in order to have a full-time position plus trying to get a bunch of artwork in, the one superpower that you need to have to get that done is focus. And find your highest leverage item and do that every day. Have a number one for every day. Okay, this is my number one that I must get done today to win the day, you know? That kind of idea. Focus, leverage, and what's your number one? Those three aspects are kind of the heart of efficiency and really getting things done. I mean, you could go deeper into it with, oh geez, I forget the guy's name. There's a book, 4 Hour Work Week, which is kind of an older book now. There's another, what is it? I'm trying to think now. I know it's a course that I want to get into, and I'm going to have to look it up real quick. Oh, Rich Webster. That's his name. Rich Webster. It's like a dictionary for wealthy people. Sorry, that's a good name, but the guy's got a book. I mean, I'm making fun of his name. What the heck, Chris? Anyway, within that kind of course, you know, it's similar to the 4 Hour Work Week, where it's all about eliminating what, you know, is not serving you, what's not serving your purpose. Well, really deciding, you know, what is your purpose kind of thing. What is most important for you. That's a number one. And then eliminating what is not serving that. So there's elimination, automation, and I don't know if it's in that same order. Elimination, automation, delegation, and then anything that's left to you. You determine, you know, you focus, and then you determine what is the highest value, and you get that done first. Highest leverage first. A really quick, crazy overview of that whole idea. I really need to do that course. I could probably share a bunch with other artists. It seems like, you know, this is what happens with a lot of artists all the time is you know, they have school, or I'm going to say we in this instance, you know, we have school, we have work, we have jobs, we have girlfriends, we have boyfriends, we have significant others, we have family, we have all kinds of things going on. And it's like, when the heck do I get my art time in? It's, you know, and we get told all the time, and I will tell people, you know, the best way to get better is time and effort. But then, how do you do that with such a busy schedule? That's one question I'd like to answer for a lot of people, in a very practical way. One of those things where, yeah, you put the work and effort into it, and you can achieve this. I've been able to achieve it, and actually that's one of a lot of my videos I talk about, but I won't go too deep into it right now. Right now, instead of picking from the image, I'm going to start picking from my reference. I'm going to start picking from what I already put down. And I'm just kind of having some fun here. I'm looking at the reference, and I'm recognizing some of these colors that are in the reference, and then I'll kind of put them where I want them. I could probably get in trouble with that by, you know, maybe it's not going to look exactly like a palm frond, or look kind of off and weird in some way. But that's the chance I'm going to take right now. I like this kind of brownish color here. a grayish blue. How about this? Oof. Maybe not so much. Let's do this. Let's bring it closer that way. Getting that value right first. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. If you're new to seeing this, this is what I do. Like if you have, like, let's zoom way in. This green here, you select that green and you say, I want something close to that, or even better, let's go to this lighter area. So I'm selecting here. This is going to give me my value range. And you think of this as like a circle. You can even do it with the artistic color picker, and you can stay on that circle, and we can even increase the intensity levels, right? But it's hard to see because it's so tiny, because you stay on that circle, this line of the circle, and maybe you move over here, right? And you stay within the same intensity. So you still have the same value, and whatever color that is, it's going to work right there because you have the same value. So you're only changing one part of the three aspects of color, which are pop quiz. What are the three aspects of color that you must know to be a good artist? I'm kidding. You don't have to know these, but it's very helpful. Three aspects of color. HSV. There you go. So there's hue. Hue is the name of the color. Red, green, blue, orange, yellow, however you want to name it. And, well, whatever language you use as well. There you go. So that's hue. Saturation. Here's the color wheel. Everything close to the center of this color wheel is close to gray until you get to the very center and it's nothing but gray. Okay. On the outside is super intense, rich color. That's saturation. Unsaturated, super saturated. And then the last one, and most important, is always going to be value. This is the hard worker. This is what creates form within everything that you do. So I'm going to grab this value. You can see it's a low value. I want to change it to a warmer color, but I want to keep the same intensity. So I'm envisioning a circle around here, and I'm going to stay on that circle and pick kind of a purplish color and put that down. Doesn't look bad. It's right in the place where we want. Now, if I took that into this lighter area, whoa, it just doesn't look right, You can move outside of that area just a little bit as far as the value is concerned, and it probably won't look so bad. But if you know your color range, if you know hue, saturation, value, you can do so much with that. Okay, I don't like that. I don't like this kind of just general flopping color around to darken something up. Oops. What I want to do is get rid of some of these marks. Okay. What do I mean by that? So I want to darken up this right side of this palm frond. It's too light. Maybe like there's a cast shadow over it, from the top palm frond. But just doing, a low opacity brush over doesn't work for me. I don't like that. You could probably you could insert a layer and then change this to darken. And then, have a dark color in your brush, and it will, let's see, it's supposed to. Oh, jeez. Now it's working. It should darken that in like a, kind of a different way, but let me pick a green that's, yeah, that's not really doing anything. It's set on darken. It's just going right over it. Hey, here's that learning curve thing, right? There's multiply. Here's darken. Or no, that's divide. Darken, which is terrible. Color. Color dodge, which will make it go crazy. Multiply. Overlay. Maybe that's what we wanted. See, then we get some intensity there. See, like this color it's gotten more intense. So we're not going to do that. We're going to go Shift Delete to get rid of that layer. And we're going to take the time that it's going to take to add a shadow to this palm frond that looks accurate. So this, let's gray that out, darken it up. This area where these palms turn over are going to get a lot darker, where these leaves turn over. Definitely. And let's say that there's kind of a dead leaf in there. I like this color. I just need to darken it up a lot. Maybe there's part of a dead leaf right in here. Too intense. So let's pick that color. Maybe into a yellow as well. And then it's still going to get, it's going to be dark, but it'll lighten up right here because even though it's got a cast shadow on it, it's still going to turn. The form is still going to turn. So I can darken this up and maybe move it closer to blue as well. Oh, and way back here is going to be very dark. Let's see if we can get a lost edge on this. Like I'll pick out the color of the tree. Just lose that edge. See, a lot of things you have to be careful within this is I'm not staying on the palm frond itself, and I'm not using the alpha lock or the transparency because that would make my edges too hard within this, and I don't want to do that. So I'll go back in and I'm going to erase the spaces so those edges are still accurate. So that the dark areas are on the palm only. Needs to be closer to blue. Too intense. Let's just do this. I can use these sliders here to gray things out a little bit easier. Also jumped into a smudge brush, and now I'm going to pick up a airbrush. Just to hit it really lightly. But then, because I use such a large airbrush, I'm going to... Yeah, I'm going to use our kind of hairy texture brush to cut out the background. Just erasing right now. If you hover over your cursor over the image of the layer and then hold Control and tap it, you'll get an automatic selection of everything in that layer. It's really nice to be able to see that and see where all of, the paint that you put down before is still at. And then you can kind of remember where that is and then do an erasing on it. Like it's all back there, but you can't see it. And then I can select it again and see, oh, okay, I erased all that. That's good. Let's hide our references. So they're getting in the way. There's almost all of these lines here are too much. It's competing with the tiger. We're going to take all that down. And I might darken this palm frond up a bit more as well. Okay, I am going to lock that transparency, or lock the alpha on it. Let me make sure it's locked. Isn't that cool? Just so much fun. And we're gonna do it with the airbrush now. I'm gonna pick a dark color, black. And this is going to be so light that I don't think it's going to harden up the edges at all. Maybe I'll put like a darker kind of stripe in the center, so there's some light coming through, and then we'll get rid of that alpha lock. I think you need a couple more brown leaves, dead leaves, yeah. I can see that. I like the idea. Let's do it. I really like this brush. The more I use it, the more I like it. Let's pick some of these colors and then darken them up. A little bit darker there. And then this color, darken it up. How about let's pick from the tiger. It's kind of all the same coloration, isn't it? This kind of orange idea going on. And this leaf right here, we're gonna kill it. Too intense. See, I should know that, because when I'm looking at my color wheel. It's way out there. It's too intense. I can move this central slider and make it more gray. Just really easy. You'd have to... I forget which... live stream I showed how to actually adjust those sliders and what they mean. Really helpful, that advanced color picker, honestly. I haven't used it for a while. And then after, like, just sitting down, watching a few videos on it, getting a better understanding of it, it is extremely helpful. I must say that there are a lack of high quality videos for Krita tutorials. I mean, there's a lot of videos out there, but not a lot of high quality videos. And Krita is such a good software. But no one knows about it because their advertising sucks. Like, the marketing for it is just terrible. They could really do so much more. How do you get the circle for the advanced color picker? Oh, I can show you that. So yeah, right here, there's this icon top left, like right next to the circle. Bam, you'll hit this. And it's kind of hidden, but when you tap on this area, it will have all of these choices. Now what's cool is you could choose, this one, right? Where in the center, it goes darker rather than lighter, but I like the lighter one. In the center, it goes lighter. And so it kind of switches. So for this one, you want to change the value dark to light at the top. But then if you're inside the color picker, when you move down to the center there, does it really lighten it up? No, it actually doesn't. It really doesn't change the value range at all. And let's pick the dark one. See how that works. Oh God, what happened there? Oh wow, that's interesting. This is really cool because now it gives you, like, if I'm in gray, it's just white and black, right? That's all I have. And then the top is all about intensity instead of value. So if I'm here and I'm all the way to the left on intensity, I can bring up the intensity and I see more color. It does lighten it up as well. Yeah, that's kind of strange. It's a little bit awkward for me. This one's much better because if I change the value, it works in the same way. The entire color picker has a different value range. And it's showing there. All right, gonna add some little hints of... Little hints, Chris. Little tiny hints of bright value to this palm frond. Eesh. See, pick there. Pick the value first, where you want the color to go, and then adjust the hue. And stay within that area. I'm always excited at how well that works. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, this is the secret for simplification. Just made my life easier. Now I just have to remember to follow the darn rule. Or idea. There's no rules in art. Okay. I'm happy with that. The only thing I will do is I'm going to play around with, let me see, where is that tree? Okay, that's that tree. There we go. It's this one. Oh, it's in multiple layers. Let's insert a new layer. Airbrush black as I can go. So subtle, it's almost unnecessary. I'll leave it. Okay. Looking pretty good. I'm really, really happy with the background, with the palm fronds, with the tiger's head. I think the next thing that we're going to have to focus on right now is the tiger's body. Let's bring our references back up. We're going to remove a lot of these references. Let me add in some more. Here's our original tiger reference. This one right here. Actually, before I open that, I'm going to open it like this, because I know that JPEG is just, it's stupid huge. It doesn't need to be that huge. What's the size of this guy? 3,000 by what? 4,000, right? And this is, oh, it's the same exact size. Yeah, I'm going to reduce the size of this. Image. Let's go by half. 1,400 width. And then just save. Okay. Now I'm going to open that as a reference because I was opening that reference, this image before, and it was just too darn big. It was slowing down everything. It was making Krita just get kind of slow. Oh, the haircut of the tiger. I forgot, we need a haircut. Too much mane. I went kind of crazy on that mane. Let's work on that. I got 8 minutes to get a tiger haircut in. Okay, we got 2 layers here. One of, yeah, those look really great together. Control E, merged. Now we just need to get our hairbrush out. You know what they need? They need a brush here that doesn't look like a painting brush, but it looks like a hairbrush. You know, like you would brush your hair with. Call it your hairbrush. All right, where's our old tiger? I made him a bit too old and wise. Now I'm interested on how this is going to look, being a subtractive technique, right? Where I'm just pulling parts of it out. Is it going to look a little bit awkward because we're not creating the hairs, we're removing the hairs? And yeah, already it's looking kind of awkward. So I think there's going to be a subtraction that happens, and then an addition right after this. Oh, that's erasing the entire tiger, even the back of the tiger. Interesting. Oh, we'll have to put that back in too. I'll have to add in part of the back of the tiger. I'll probably bring some of that my references in here to make sure that I haven't screwed up like this angle of the back of the tiger as well, because this is all merged together. Oof. Yeah, I'm gonna change tact here. Let's focus on removing some of the hair out here. This beard I'm going to change by putting in more tiger fur on the body. Now you can try the low value teal. Yeah, good idea. I'll do that. So a dark teal, how gray is it? What's saturation level on it? So you got the color, you got the value. Give me an idea on the saturation. Already looking better. The tiger haircut. Oh, you don't remember? Okay. Oh, we'll play with it. No worries. But next time, Thinker, you got to remember it. I mean, I'm depending on you on making my painting better, okay? If I don't have you, this is going to suck. I need you, man. I need you. Next time, remember. You're like, yes, sir, jerk. But not very saturated. Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be in the shadow area. All right, that's a pretty good haircut. Now let's get back into some additive to it, just in some places. So let's start with what we've had before. So right around that kind of grayish color. Actually, no, we want to be down here because everything I cut off is in deep shadow. So we're pretty close to the center here. So let's go into a teal. Maybe right around in there. Let's see what this looks like. And I do want a little bit of kind of the whitish fur coming in on this side. As I can see right here, it's actually really cool. It starts a bit lighter, and then as it gets deeper into this area, it gets even darker. Brush is too big. You also will need to lighten the forehead face of the tiger. Yes, yeah. In the black and white area, it was a lot of fun because, or that black and white document, where I did a lightening. I use a lighten layer. How do I describe that? A layer that was used. No, it was not using lightning. It was using overlay. I did an overlay layer and it looked really good. Okay, that's pretty dark. We can lighten that up a bit. I like how there's this big piece of white hair that kind of comes out this way. Oh, there's the timer, 5:30. Can you believe it's already been an hour? See, this is why I go over the stream time all the time. Is because, man, I could just do this all day long. Wish I could, but I cannot. I'm gonna do one more thing here and then I'm done. One more thing, just one more thing. Let's go a little bit lighter for the edges of this. Good work this morning. Always love starting my day here. Have a productive day, son. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. I didn't know you were here. Kind of snuck in. Yeah, I'm heading out. I just want to get this kind of value change on these hair, this part of these beard here. I like how it starts out. It's light on the outside and then gets darker as it goes in. Very subtle. Look at that. Just turn that form really wonderfully. Yeah, I like the teal down there. Thanks, Thinker, for that. All right, we know exactly where we need to continue next time. Is going to be getting that beard kind of figured out a bit more. I've merged the entire tiger together, so the beard is over the background, the body of the tiger. So that's going to be fun to mess around with. Yeah, it'll have to be like real paint. All right. Okay, thanks guys for joining me. Once again, if you want all the references every single day of downloads of 44 days so far, tomorrow's going to be 45. You can go to my website or just see the link in the description below. It'll take you to my website, eventually to a Gumroad, blah, blah, blah. It's $10, $5 off, CB50 off to get it for $5. Yeah, ridiculous deal. Hopefully in the future, people take advantage of it. But there you go. Thanks a lot. I'll see everyone tomorrow.